Hello, everyone. I'm super excited about today's guest. She's my first female fighter on the show and also a personal friend of mine. She's an atomweight training out of War Training Center in Houston, Texas, and she'll be fighting this Saturday live on UFC Fight Pass at Invicta FC 27. Miss Steph Alba. How you doing, Steph?
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. So you're in the hotel now
I am.
in Kansas City. How was the flight?
It was good. They kind of lost my luggage, but other than that, yeah. So I'm waiting for that still, but it was good.
Oh
It's all
my
right.
god. Does it have all your gear in it and stuff too?
Yeah, it has everything in it. So, yeah.
When are they supposed to get it to you?
Um, they said like 6 or 7 p.m.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah,
Okay, so you'll have everything.
yeah. Yep.
Cool, cool. So right before this, you texted me. You said you were going to check weight. How's the weight?
It's good. It's always a little higher than I would want it, but nonetheless, it's good. It's all right.
It seems like it's been a good weight cut for you, though. Like it came off pretty easy, was it?
Yeah, yeah, it's been good. I feel strong. Um I feel good. I don't feel like I'm not sick this time or anything, so it's going well.
Awesome. So MMA is an interesting career. Something I like to ask all the fighters I talk to is, how did you get into MMA, and what was kind of your inspiration to start fighting?
Well, growing up, I got in a lot of fights, not by choice. I was kind of bullied, went to a huge high school, and I kind of just developed that like feistiness, I guess. And then I tried a self-defense class in kickboxing, and I started doing jujitsu, doing jujitsu tournaments, losing, and then winning. And my coach was like, "Hey, you want to do MMA?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I started that way.
So where are you from? Where did you start all that?
I started at Urban Jungle in Houston, Texas. So,
Okay, is that where you're from? Are you from Houston?
yep, born and raised here in Houston, Texas. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I've seen Tanya Avenger, who of course is like the queen of Invicta, and she just recently came off that title fight with Cyborg. She's kind of been a coach and a mentor for you over the years. How did that come about?
I met her in St. Louis, and we kind of just hooked up there, and she started helping me train for fights and cornered me for a lot of my amateur fights up until like pro. Um, so I did learn a lot from her as far as you know, the MMA scene. I watched her actually when I first started. Um, I was rooting against her. I was going for Gina Carano like in 2007, and that's kind of when I started. So she was someone I looked up to. So being able to train under her and her style, it just kind of just matched up pretty well. So yeah.
So were you guys kind of training partners to begin with? A little bit? Is that how you guys met at the gym, just rolling around or something?
Yeah, let's say that.
Or there's a story to this, I feel
Yeah, me
like.
and Tanya dated for like 2 years, so and then she moved down to Texas um with me. So yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know all that. That's wild. Okay, awesome, awesome.
Yeah, so
Oh,
we
a
kind of
little
have a
bit of backstory on you, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So, what has it been like to kind of get that I guess help along the way from her, being that she's had so much to do with women's MMA?
It's been great. Like I feel like with her career, she mapped it out a certain way, and she did the same with mine. Her and my coach Jeremy kind of knew exactly how to map out my career, and I think at this point, like I'm ready for Invicta. Just the way my amateur career went, and then the start of my pro career, like I feel I'm in the right place. Tanya's really smart when it comes to that kind of stuff, and she knew she was going to fight Cyborg. She said it for many years, like I'm going to fight her for a big payday. It's going to be for a title. I mean, I remember her saying that. So I kind of trusted her with my career as well, and knowing when I'm going to be ready for these opportunities. And now they're here. So it's
That,
awesome.
that is awesome. So the relationship may have not worked out, but you guys are still really close, obviously, and you still gained a lot from that friendship. All right,
Yes, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
that's awesome. And she introduced you to Jeremy, who's your head coach now, correct?
I actually introduced her to Jeremy.
Oh,
Jeremy was,
really?
yeah, Jeremy was my coach before I moved to St. Louis. And
Ah, and then when you guys came to Texas, is that when you introduced her?
yeah, and luckily they got along and their style was very similar. Jeremy, he started off as a stand-up Thai fighter, but then he went to jiu-jitsu and kind of wrestling style, grappling style. So they hooked up and they just, hit it off really, really well. And so, she needed those corners because in St. Louis, she didn't have anybody supporting her. She didn't have that like core group that she needed to succeed. So when she moved down here, she got a chance to like have that. And, I've always been real loyal to Jeremy. So it just kind of worked out that way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So the news recently broke about her not being able to compete in her bout against Renau in Austin. Have you had a chance to speak with her about that yet?
I have. She's upset. She's still feeling upset, but it happens. We're in a combat sport, that can happen at any time, and that's unfortunately the risk that we take, training so as hard as we do. And it's unfortunate, and we're all upset about it, so trying to keep her in good spirits, but it is what it is.
Absolutely. That's what you said. It is what it is. It's kind of the game, and being a female in MMA, especially atomweight, is that kind of tough for you to find fights and to keep active in that weight class?
Yes. So I fought like once this past year. And before I was fighting, I think, 4 or 5 times a year, as an amateur, but I fought at 115. So atomweight has been a lot harder. So I'm happy with Invicta though, because they have a lot of atomweights now that they've signed and stuff. So I'll have there's a lot on the roster. I'll have a lot more fights with them.
Invicta FC is a great organization too, and you were super excited when you found out that you were going to be fighting with them. So what does this mean for you to get that chance and that opportunity to kind of show your worth?
It's so amazing. Like I've told this story like a couple of times already, but I booked a ticket, me and two other fighter girls, to Invicta 1, the first ever Invicta, and we stayed in the same hotel I'm staying at. We hung out like in downtown, the same place I'm at. So it's kind of surreal to actually get this moment, because I remember looking at the girls and saying, that's where I want to fight. Like, that's my goal. That's my dream. And to actually be here is amazing. It's like a dream come true. But also I put in the work to get here. So I don't know, it just all came together at the right time. So it's awesome.
That is awesome. Congratulations. A lot of hard work brought you here.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you've got a tough opponent in the well-known Ashley Cummins. What do you think about that matchup with her, and how do you see the fight going?
So it's kind of funny because I actually trained with her before in St. Louis. We trained for about a year together. She was already a pro. And so when Tanya came in the picture, they didn't like Tanya for some reason. So they kicked her out of the gym. They didn't like her to corner me, And so Ashley actually called me out to fight when she was a pro and I was an amateur. And I didn't forget that. At the time, I was like, why are you calling out an amateur? But now, here it is. Let's go. Like, I'm ready to go. And
wow.
So, yeah, there's a little backstory to that as well.
That is an interesting backstory. And you remember those type of things, huh?
Oh, yeah. Like, I didn't forget. Like, I'm not going to forget that. She's been very respectful, but, I know that's still in my head as far as, like, how they treated me and Tanya. And, I definitely, not saying I'm not respectful towards her, but, like, I want to go out there and, like, kind of get a few elbows in her face for being so rude to me. Because I was nice to her. Like, me and Tanya were nice. Tanya didn't do anything to her. And not just that, like, me, like, I didn't do anything to her either. So bring it on. I'm ready.
Like you said to us at the gym the other night, you just like your people, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. For sure. Yeah.
Can't mess with your people.
Yeah, don't mess with me and my click, 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 click. Just.
So who do you got in your corner this weekend?
I have Mayhan. Mayhan's in my corner. Yeah, Tanya didn't make it out. He's usually in my corner, but with everything she has going on, she's not here this time. So me and Jeremy are ready to take it.
Awesome. Do you guys have a game plan mapped out for the fight, or are you just kind of in there to wing it?
Yeah, my game plan is to make it filthy and to be that thug and gangster, because Ashley's a cop. So I get to beat up a cop. It's pretty cool. Which I like cops.
That is pretty
Don't
cool.
get me wrong. I like cops. But like it's kind of playing the bad guy this time, and I'm good with that. So it'll be fun. It's a fun fight for me.
That's awesome. That is pretty cool to hear. Well, Steph, it's been great to talk to you. I appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time. I know you're sort of in the middle of getting ready and battling the weight cut and stuff, and we've been both busy, so I'm glad we could make the time.
All right. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, guys, be sure to check out Stephanie Alba at Invicta FC 27 live on UFC Fight Pass Saturday, January 13th. Don't miss it.